Welcome to Bethel Lutheran Church Drive-Thru Adventures of Candyland. The gingerbread kids are gingerbread people seen in various editions of Candyland, usually as the player pieces. Tonight, the gingerbread people are collecting donations of new socks for a Socktoberfest that our youth group is doing for a program called The Who, Winter Hospitality Overflow. Make sure to keep a lookout for the gingerbread boys and girls around Candyland, and they'll help you along the path and make sure you have the sweetest adventure. Philippians 2:4 says, "Let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interest of others." First off, we see Mama Ginger Tree, originally Mama Ginger Snap. She is a friendly gingerbread tree who resides near the beginning of Candyland. The gingerbread kids are good friends of hers and love to play with her. Plumpy is a gingerbread plum tree caretaker. Plumpy is the last of the Plum Patrols and the caretaker of the gingerbread plum grove, tasked with gathering the fallen fruit as it was ripe upon hitting the ground. John 15:12-13 says, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends." Look out for Licorice Lord, though. In Licorice Lagoon, the grumpy Lord Licorice sneaks through the licorice forest. Be careful. He may try to block your way along the path with his icky sticky licorice. Lord Licorice is not like anyone else in Candyland. He's always up to some plan to turn all of Candyland into licorice. Lucky for us, he's a little clumsy. One of these days, you'd think, he'll learn that those happy Candyland friends, with the help of visitors like you, will stop him every time. And we can remember in 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 9, show hospitality to one another without grumbling. Let's have Mr. Licorice learn that too. Look out for Mr. Mint from the Peppermint Forest. Imagine sparkly minty snow and a giant peppermint stick as tall as trees. Who would live in such a minty place? Why, the most fun-loving fellow in all of Candyland, Mr. Mint, of course. The tall woodsman lives deep in the peppermint forest beyond the Peppermint Falls. Be sure to stop by and wave at him. Mr. Mint loves to laugh so much he'll probably come with you on your next adventure. For as he always says, you gotta have fun. And Philippians 4, verse 4 says, "Rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I say rejoice." Next to Lord Licorice, we'll find Gumdrop Mountain, where we'll find a Happy Jolly. His original design was far from a dinosaur, being a jolly, silly, unidentifiable humanoid creature who wore poofy pants. Isn't he silly? 1 Corinthians 13:13 says, "So now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, but the greatest of these is love." Grandma Nut and Nana Nut from Peanut Acres were from earlier versions of Candyland. Things can get a little nutty around Candyland, and nowhere better than at Peanut Acres. Here lives Grandma Nut with her dog, carefully tending her peanut fields. These fields are special, loving care, for they do not grow just any old peanuts, but peanuts with magical surprises inside. Grandma Nut loves to experiment and create new things. Whether you take a slide around her house or hunt for that perfect peanut, you'll always have fun with Grandma Nut. And 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17 says, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he has new creation." Next, we have Lollipop Woods with Princess Lolly. Deep in the heart of Lollipop Woods, you'll find Lolly dancing about to her own music. In a cloud of twinkling light, she happily waves her magical lollipop scepter. Lolly is curious about everything and is easily distracted. There's so much to see in Candyland. Psalm 149 verse 3 says, "Let them praise his name with dancing, making melody to him with tambourine and lyre." Now look for the Ice Palace. Queen Frostine is there. She's said to be the sweetest in all of Candyland. Queen Frostine is the perfect picture of grace and beauty. She is everything you'd want a queen to be. Wherever she goes, her snowflake scepter spins a trail of sparkling sugary snowflakes. Her favorite place is Snowflake Lake, just up the path from the Lollipop Woods, but not quite so far as the Ice Cream Mountains. Psalm 55:14 says, "With whom I once enjoyed sweet fellowship at the house of God, as we walked about among the worshipers." You are always welcome here. Next we come upon the Chocolate Swamp, where we'll see Grandma Gooey. She briefly replaced Grandma Nut from a while back. Along with Gloppy, she and he are obviously both residents of that chocolate swamp and mountain. Chocolate Mountain is the source of Grandma Gooey's chocolate. She is somewhat of an expert when it comes to making cakes. Chocolate cakes are her specialty. Psalm 34:8 says, "Taste and see that the Lord is good." Just before we get to the Ice Palace and Candy Castle, you'll pass through the Chocolate Swamp where you just might meet Gloppy. Don't be afraid. Gloppy might look like a monster, but he's really a lovable glob of chocolate goo. But Gloppy gets very lonely sitting in the swamp, all by himself. So give him a warm hello and you'll have a friend forever. 1 John chapter 3 verse 1 says, "See what kind of love the Father has given to us, that we should be called children of God, and so we are. The reason why the world does not know us is that it did not know him." And here we come. We come upon Candy Castle, King of Candyland. King Candy is the king of all Candyland. No adventure is complete without a trip to his Candy Castle. You'll find the castle below the Ice Cream Mountains where the chocolate river flows, made of sparkling sugar, colorful candies, and gumdrops galore. Candy Castle is a place you just have to see. King Candy loves all his sweet Candyland friends so much. Every year he throws them the sweet celebration, the sweetest party you'll ever see. Be sure to stop and get your treat bag from him before you leave. Zechariah 14 verse 9 says, "And the Lord will be king over all the earth. On that day the Lord will be one and his name one." Thank you for joining Bethel Lutheran Church for our sweet path to Jesus. We want to thank all of our awesome volunteers for making this possible tonight. Also, on the back of your brochure, you will find a QR code for Bethel's website and Rock Solid's website. We invite you to take a look at those websites for more upcoming events in the future that we would love to welcome you to. Also, a special thanks to everyone who donated socks to our youth group service project for the Winter Hospitality Overflow. John 6, verse 35 says, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty." Thank you again for all your wonderful donations.